Hello everybody and welcome to Press Start, the official video games podcast of HollywoodChicago.com. My name is Cole Rush, I'm your host, and I am incredibly excited. This is my very first video podcast. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. I'm here with my good friend and co-host Dylan Doherty. Dylan, how you doing?
Doing really good. Really excited to be here and can't wait to get this started.
Awesome. And also with me is our first guest ever, a very honorable guest, Adam Fendelman. Adam, you are the founder and publisher of a very popular website. Give us a little bit of background on that.
Yeah, so HollywoodChicago.com started in 2007 when the Dark Knight was filming. And I was covering it every single day, and a lot of people came to the site to learn about what was going on the set, because that was nowhere else to be had. And when the filming stopped, I decided, oh, well, we have all these kind of comic book readers and Marvel DC people, why don't we start actually reviewing movies? And so I changed it into, from a blog into a full entertainment publication, hired a staff of writers, started reviewing films, redesigned the site.
All right, and is it true that HollywoodChicago.com also features video game reviews?
It does feature video game reviews.
Wow. Where can I find those? And who writes them?
So those are at HollywoodChicago.com/videogames. We've had a number of different video game critics over the years. Paul has written a lot of Xbox video game reviews. This guy over here came on earlier this year to write PlayStation 4 and Nintendo video game reviews.
Cool. Okay, now, so you and I met a while ago. Why don't you give us a brief overview of how the podcast came to be, and we'll all kind of give a little bit of our story on how we came here today.
So Hollywood Chicago has been written by...
Just a second. Okay, go ahead.
It's been written by veteran writers and accredited movie critics. It's been mostly movie focused over the years, and for the most part, it's been the written word. Most of us are in the Chicago Film Critics Association. We've been writing for a long time. We decided to get more interactive and go audio and video and show people who we are, which some people may not want to see, but we're doing. And instead of just writing all of our written reviews, doing this on YouTube and doing this on iTunes.
Right, and you and I met at work, obviously. Yeah. Dylan and I met through a mutual friend, and I discovered that he loved video games. Dylan, give me a little bit of your background.
A little background. I started at University of Illinois. We have a mutual friend from there in Maturo, so at one of the parties we started talking, just love video games. We were kind of off in our little corner, didn't really talk to anyone else.
We were obviously the coolest kids.
Oh yeah, obviously everyone wanted to talk to us. We were like, no, don't talk to us. We have our own little world.
If you have not played Shadow of Mordor, you cannot talk to us. You actually cannot be within 10 feet of us, was the rule.
Exactly, yeah.
Right. So, okay, awesome. Well, like I said, I'm very excited. I, like Adam said, am the video game critic for HollywoodChicago.com. Most recently, I reviewed... What did I review most recently? Broken Age. Phenomenal game. And this is, just for the record, listeners, this is filmed and recorded a little bit before it's going to be published. So some of the games may be a little outdated, but play Broken Age. It's phenomenal.
It did seem really good. Like, I saw you play for a little bit, and the rhythm was just incredible.
The storytelling in that game is some of the best I've ever seen, just as far as world building goes. The characters are hilarious. The puzzles are a little difficult. Did not like that much. But additionally, I just finished Life is Strange, but we have a whole segment about what we're playing later. So, Adam, your role with Hollywood Chicago, tell me a little bit.
So I've been kind of the, I've taken on the role of publisher.
Even though I publish my own content.
Well, writers self-publish because we only have so much time in the day.
He's a very important person.
So yeah, well, so I'm doing movie reviews, usually for the kind of the larger movies that come out. Do a lot of our giveaways, and I handle a lot of the business of the site, which someone has to do. And also kind of taking the site to the next level. Now,
out of curiosity, I know we're going to start a movies podcast eventually, but give me a little taste. What is the highest score you've ever given a movie?
I mean, I've given perfect ratings, very...
Now, what's perfect on your website, just so people know if they...
Which ones have you given perfect ratings?
Yeah.
50 Shades of Grey.
No.
Love that one.
Princess and the Frog.
I'd have to look back, but I mean,
Run.
It's on a 0 to 5.
It's a great movie.
It's a really good movie.
It's on a 0 to 5 scale.
Okay.
You know, things
so
like
5 stars.
The Dark Knight have been pretty high up there. Actually, I gave a Mad Max very high recently.
Mad Max is really good.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. So I write for a few websites, and I have given one perfect score to one game. Do you guys know what that game is?
Does that have something to do with Zelda?
There are characters from Zelda
Super
in the
Smash
game.
Brothers.
Yeah.
Super Smash Brothers
Bing,
4
bing,
for the
bing.
Wii U, I gave a perfect 10 on my other website. And I still stand by that score today.
It was a good game. I've only played a little bit of it, but I really liked it.
The content in that game is just phenomenal. So, we've all talked a little bit about what we do now. Let's talk about where we came from. So, I'll start. I'm just going to give a little bit of my personal gaming history. So, I was about, I think, 13 years old when I started playing games, like a little more seriously than I was before. I had a Game Boy Color. I got a Tom and Jerry game, which was absolutely impossible. It was so difficult. And then from there, I kind of got every version of the Game Boy after that, the Advance and then the SP. And eventually I got old enough to where I was working my own job at Portillo's.
Ooh, great
And,
restaurant.
yeah, phenomenal. And
Good chocolate cake.
I finally started buying my own consoles. My first ever console I got from my parents. It was an Xbox, the original Xbox.
That was your first console.
Terrible choice. Terrible
Xbox
choice.
was a good console.
They asked me what I wanted though, and between the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube, I said Xbox.
Yeah, go PS2. But Xbox was
I would have gone with
so
the
good.
GameCube in retrospect because of my history with Nintendo, but you know,
PS2 all the way.
that kind of
though.
instilled in me a love of games, and more recently I started to play them seriously and really look at games critically and view them as more of just like an entertainment form that everybody can enjoy rather than a nerdy niche hobby, you know. So in college I got a PS3, I had a Wii U, and I just started gaming. Like I think I got my PS3 probably 5 years after it came out, so at the end of the console's life cycle, and I just played everything that came out because
That's the best part. All the games are already out.
I got
You
all
get
these games
dirt
for like
cheap,
80
you can really
bucks.
play 'em.
And that was when I really started getting serious about games and kind of started defending them as a worthwhile hobby, which I still do a lot today. And you know, so I got the PS4 at launch. Now I have, what do I play right now? I have a Wii U, a Vita, a new 3DS, and a PS4. So I'm pretty broad on the spectrum. I love my Nintendo games, as you guys know.
Except you just hate Microsoft.
Yeah, I just...
What is it about Microsoft? You hate
Nothing
so
about
much?
Microsoft's first-party exclusives like titillates me at all.
Dead Rising, Halo.
I don't like any of those games. I like the
Personal
big
preference.
grand narrative experiences, and I like the fun, wacky, whimsical ones like Nintendo's. So that's a little bit about my gaming history.
You like
where I came
Fable
from.
then. Fable's really good for that.
Never played Fable.
Fable's so good. Great story, really whimsical,
what?
great open world.
Maybe I'll get an Xbox eventually if I start making some more money, but we will see.
Podcasting pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. That would be quite wonderful. So, Adam, we'll start with you next.
Yeah, this is a good cross section because we come from very different worlds.
Yeah, and you
When it
usually
comes to
like games
stuff.
that I hate.
Yeah.
And that everybody else hates.
And a
And
little bit more retro. I got the Pac-Man going on.
you're just saying because I'm old.
That too.
I mean, Cole says that he started gaming when he was 13, which was like a year ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Yeah, so like I started.
No, Adam,
really-
you're 50, right?
Yeah, I just look real. I have good skin.
Hermione's got nice skin.
I mean, I did play. Okay, so here's my history with this. So yeah, I remember the thing called Atari. I played a bit of it, but I really started with NES.
So your favorite game is Asteroids, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, Pong.
Ooh,
Fair
Pong
enough.
was good.
I mean, I like real Pong.
Yeah.
It's bound to come up eventually.
Surprised not every sentence.
NES was really my first gaming system. I remember, Super Mario Brothers came out. It was obviously life changing for anyone who's ever played any games. And I went into Zelda and Duck Hunt and Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and we'll get to my top 5 list. It seems that a lot of my good memories of my childhood from gaming were from NES.
I mean, it's a great system. It's the one that started it all.
In arcades, like I do remember playing Neo Geo and that kind of stuff, but I think I skipped to pinball for a while. Miss Pac-Man was a big deal for me when I got into gaming. I own one that will also come up. It is in my basement.
Not so sure if that'll come up.
It'll come up. Stop
You'll sneak it into there.
First of all,
exactly
stop
sure.
looking at my top 5 list. It'll probably come up. And then I did go into with PC based kind of stuff. I went into some of the massively multiplayer stuff. I spent several years of my life on one in particular, which we'll start
Clash of
talking
Clans?
about. No,
Oh, now why
Well,
not
the World of
play
Warcraft.
Clash of Clans?
because I just don't have the attention span for playing an app for that long.
I feel like that one's even shorter. Like,
But he
you
played
shit out of
Everquest
it.
for like 5 years
Yeah,
straight.
you're able to play for hours on end, but you can't do 5 minutes on one little game.
I just don't want to play something that much on my phone. I want to get in and get out.
Fair enough.
That's what happens with your phone. You get in, you get out.
That's the whole point of the mobile gaming.
I just didn't get into Clash of Clans. To me, seems so like young.
See, Adam has this very, very horrible prejudice where he won't play any game that looks even mildly cartoony. For example, Borderlands.
Borderlands, incredible game, so much fun.
And Borderlands looks cartoony on the surface, but when you see all that blood,
That
it's not
style is
cartoony.
fantastic.
The cell shading is phenomenal. And Adam likes to grind.
He
likes-
really wants to keep playing and really get up those levels.
Yeah, he likes to work hard and invest in a game. He likes hours and hours and hours on end of content.
Just lose his
You know?
life.
And Borderlands is that game.
It is
Borderlands
perfect.
is the definitive experience for Adam.
Once you beat the game, you can keep going back, play again.
Yeah,
earn
I
some
mean,
more
there's
levels.
hundreds and hundreds of hours of content, including all the DLC, that you can get for like maybe $60.
Oh, easy.
I just don't understand why he won't play it. But anyway, you were talking?
So I went from I played a lot of different PS3 games. I've never been an Xbox guy. I've had a Wii, but I haven't played much of it. Like since the Nintendo.
The Wii has a great library.
Wii does have a good library.
I pretty much went to like the PlayStation world. I played a lot of different stuff on PS3, and then I got PS4, and now the kind of stuff I would play would mostly be on PS4. We were just playing Mortal Kombat X in the other room.
That
It
was
was really
good.
fun.
Yeah, that's
But-
my first time playing it.
On PS4 at the time, I invested most of my time in Diablo 3, which was another grind kind of game. But okay, so one of the big differences between me and you is I'm more of a multiplayer guy.
Oh, wait. We're talking about this in a few minutes.
Okay.
I want to know your history with video games.
So my history basically took me from NES to PS4.
Okay, and so what consoles do you own now? And
I have a PS3, a PS4, a Wii, and a Miss Pac-Man console.
that's not okay. Fine.
It don't count.
Sure, you
We'll
have
give it to
Hey,
him.
it's a game. It's an arcade.
I don't know,
You own an
console.
arcade.
When,
I
when
don't
somebody
know
asks me
games
what
into it.
When somebody says what console do you have, I don't say, well, Miss Pac-Man.
It's okay to be jealous. Sorry.
I'm really not that jealous. I mean, it's cool that you have it, and like reasonably, if I wanted to play it, I could just ask you to come over,
Okay.
and you'd be like, yeah.
That are downloaded on one
so
of the
it's
10
like-
systems
But
down.
there's no loss to me at all for not having that.
And also it has mazes that I hate, so no one else.
So they're really easy.
Yeah.
It's literally just an open square, and you can just go anywhere.
No ghost chasing you. Just only collect.
Oh my. Well, okay, that's interesting. So you have a very, different history from some of the younger gamers, because like we said, you're 50.
Yeah.
And Dylan,
Great skin.
where'd you start? Where'd you go? Where'd you end up? Why?
So I actually also started with NES. That one of my friends had that, so I'd always go over and play there. Played Super Smash Brothers. Excite Bike
Oh,
was
yeah.
by far one of my favorite games. Absolutely love that.
That's why you
was
picked the
always good.
Excite Bike track on Mario
Yeah,
Kart?
played very first one I played Mario Kart. So I played that. That was probably my first kind of foray into the games. And then the first system I ever owned, my dad worked for high school. So at the end of the school year, he was kind of going around cleaning out lockers. He found the very first Game Boy in there.
What?
2 games with Super Mario Land and some baseball games.
Super
So-
Mario Land is tough.
So tough. So I'm like 9 still playing this. So he gave it to me and my brother, and you could not get away from me. I just kept playing it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but in Super Mario Land, if you die, you go back to the very beginning of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, there's like no saves or anything.
Yeah,
You
I
go
have
all
that
the
on
way
my
through.
DS. I can't do
And
shit.
that's the one where you can get like a little submarine. You like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It's-
so good. So
okay.
much different than the rest of the Mario.
Well, yeah, you're in
games, but-
Sarasa Land instead of...
Sriracha Land, you go to space at one point, and that really just exploded my
It
imagination.
doesn't feel like a Mario game at all.
Not at
It
all.
is. It's-
And that was my very first system, and I absolutely loved it. And then the second one I got was a Genesis from my grandma. She bought me and my brother Genesis, and just played the hell out of that
Like
one.
the first book of the Bible, or...
Yeah, so Sega Genesis.
Gotcha.
Or Star Trek Genesis.
Ooh,
That-
that'd be
that's
good one,
that's
too.
not a real thing.
So I played that, and I got Sonic, I got Mega Man, I got Voltron, I got all the really good games for that.
How do you feel about Sonic these days?
Not good. They really killed him to death.
The only thing I like about Sonic is my Sonic amiibo. I am an amiibo collector.
Cole loves his amiibos. He has a great
Amiibo is the plural of amiibo.
Amiibi.
Amiibo is the plural of amiibo.
It's funny you mentioned Sonic because I recently started playing Sonic on my phone. Because
Okay,
So,
now you
wait,
like
yeah,
phones.
wait a second.
Now phones
Yeah.
are okay for you.
So you play Clash of Clans? Oh, I hate playing games on my phone. I'm way above that and better than anybody who plays games on their phone. And then all of a sudden I say, what do you think about Sonic? And you go, oh, I play it on my phone all the time.
That's because in me talking about, I didn't say all the time.
Yeah, you implied it.
Because I lied. And no, but I did skip in my history of gaming Sega. Sega was definitely part of my childhood, and Sonic was a big part of Sega when I was.
I mean,
five.
yeah, he's the mascot of Sega.
And
Fair enough.
so I started playing this new. It's basically Temple Run with Sonic.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good.
No, it's super cool.
Well, I mean, that makes the most sense for Sonic.
That really would.
He's not a
It'd be that
platformer.
Yeah.
It's a game about speed that all it does is slow you down. That's a terrible, terrible concept for a game. and they were fun for nostalgic value, and the music is really good. But like,
Ooh, that soundtrack was
that's
so
not a good concept for a game. That's not a good hook if your hook is speed.
Have you played Temple
And
Run?
it tries to slow. I played Temple Run. That's why I'm saying that one's good.
So it's basically Sonic Temple Run.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's a good concept.
That works. It's when you kind of do platformers, all the new
yeah.
games. Like, although Sonic Adventures, the Dreamcast was really good.
Those are fun. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the hub world, and you can go.
Start back up with Sega Genesis.
Alright, so Sega Genesis went from there, got a N64, and that's probably by far my favorite system ever. Just absolutely love N64. I still own one, and still all the time go back. I have countless hours of playing with my friends doing GoldenEye, yelling at each other for split screen cheating, and
Oh, yeah.
that was a big
Screen
part of my
peeking.
childhood, yeah. Even back in college, we'd still break out the Nintendo, and Super Smash Bros. For N64 was by far first.
I'm a Melee guy.
See, I'm always on 64.
Now I'm a 4 guy. I love Smash 4, but like Melee, I played for hundreds and hundreds of hours with my friends.
Yeah, that was fun.
And it
one.
never got not fun.
When it first came out, I started playing that, and then, I don't know, 64 just came back and just made a resurgence.
So I think out of the three of us, you probably have the most rich history with video games.
Yeah,
You started with everything.
I started with everything. Then I went to Dreamcast,
You
I
don't
went to
discriminate.
PS2, I went to Xbox, and I got a Wii, and then I got
Well, that's good, man.
360.
So I can, I can always provide perspective on Nintendo games and PS4 games and a lot of indies I play. You can provide perspective on pretty much everything,
Yeah,
which is great.
basically,
And
I'll
Adam
play a
can
little bit of
provide
everything.
perspective on crappy games, which is fortunate. So,
We need someone to do it.
all right. Well, thanks for letting us know. Now,
right.
our listeners have an idea of where we're coming from, so that they can say, "Oh, I like what these guys play." Now I can listen
I like
to them.
Dylan, I hate Adam.
Well, that's a good. The reason for this podcast is just to talk about games with our community, with the HollywoodChicago.com community, so that if somebody wants to buy a game, but they're not sure if the $60 investment is worth it, they can say, "Well, I'll go see what Dylan thinks of it because Dylan usually has similar tastes to me," or "I know if Cole doesn't like this game for these reasons, I will like it because those are things I look for in a game."
Exactly.
And kind of on that note, what do you guys think sets us apart from most video game podcasts? Adam, I know you don't listen to any podcasts and you didn't listen to the sample ones I sent you, so you can just up. Dylan.
I'd say a little bit different for you because you do review video games. You definitely do,
I do,
that
yes.
kind of review mindset. For me, it's mostly just play and have fun. So I'm definitely that social gamer and that person just wants to enjoy a game.
Right.
It can be a terrible game and I'll still love it. And I'll still put countless hours into it. Well, someone gives it maybe a 5.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think a good perspective that we bring is we're not industry veterans. I've been writing about video games for over a year now, but it's with small independent sites, and Adam's is a lot bigger, obviously, than my other site. But it's I'm not a professional. I have a day job, and I do this on the side for fun, but I enjoy it, and I'm passionate about it. So we're kind of just the regular guys you come to, when you go to ask your friend about a game. Because you and I have a lot of friends who don't game.
Yeah, so
And
we
it's
have to kind of try to find people to talk
we
to.
find that word of mouth elsewhere, which I think is a really good resource. So I think that's what sets us apart is we're not trying to bring you the news, we're not trying to give you the exclusives, we're trying to tell you, we enjoyed this game, you should try it out, and
What we're
support the
playing now.
developers. Yeah.
And what we like now.
Exactly. It's a fun conversation about games, and news will definitely be in there because we want to discuss what's happening in the industry and such. We're recording this pre-E3, so I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk
That
about
will be big, yeah.
after E3 when this podcast launches. Adam, I guess you can say something if you'd like.
Thanks. And I think thank you for your permission. Another good thing about this podcast is that it'll bring a good perspective between gamers and kind of casual gamers and then non-gamers. So I would you guys probably consider yourself gamers, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
And I don't know that I would call myself that. I think because I have a history of spending a lot of time on a game, but then going months without playing games at all. So it's games are kind of either a part of my life for a long time or not at all.
It's kind of hit or miss for you. You find something you get obsessed with, and then once that's gone,
Yeah.
you
You sprinkle it in there. You find what you like, you play it,
Okay.
you're done. I think a gamer is a good term for it. I don't like to use that as my complete identity, obviously, because there's so many other things that we
Obviously,
are.
he's just a nerd in general.
Right. Well, there's that, and
You're also a ponger.
yeah, I'm a semi-professional ping pong player, and
You are ranked.
there's all sorts of stuff that I like to do, but
I'm ranked too.
He's ranked too, but
Gamer is
less ranked.
much lower. Gamer is definitely a part of my identity, and I really like playing games. I think another goal for me for this podcast is maybe once in a while we'll catch somebody who isn't a gamer, but who just wants to hear about them, and maybe think of something new about video games that they hadn't necessarily heard before. Maybe we can change somebody's mind once in a while.
Maybe get
no
them to become a video
guarantees.
game player.
Yeah, but I think that's good. I think we can bring a lot of really good perspective to people. That was a jingle of a dog's collar who's visiting my house.
Yes.
For everybody who's listening.
He's a very nice dog, but does not like us.
Yeah, she's very, very timid. but she's just wandering around, so you might hear her out and about. Anyway, before we take a break, we're going to shorten this segment a little bit. Give me 3 reasons, they can be one word to a phrase or a sentence, why you play video games. Dylan, you go first.
I'd say first, story. Just you definitely have to have someone there and get connected to them. Second is the gameplay. You just have to have something that just keeps you hooking, like Borderlands, just shooting people and level grinding. It really gets to you. And I'd say the third one is just entertainment value. It's kind of like a movie where you get involved in the story and you get involved in the world and you really just want to be a part of it and just learn everything you can with it.
Okay, excellent. Adam, 3 reasons, go.
I think my first one is, for me, it's a social thing. So sometimes instead of just sitting down, like a lot of times if I just decide to sit down and do something with myself, it'll either be go to see a movie or
touching yourself.
Or write a review. But
write a review.
But if I want to play a game, to me it's like, oh, I'll call up a friend and let's play a game. So to me it's social. That's why I got into Everquest, and when I was playing Diablo, it was very social. So it's playing a game, but it's as much as it is playing a game, it's also me hanging out with a friend.
Right.
The other thing is, for me, it's an evolution. So when I game, I like to start something at like a 0 and make it like.
So like you start as a squirrel.
Yeah.
Okay. Then what do you become?
Like just
What's the next one?
Yeah.
What's the next after squirrel?
Like a guinea pig.
Okay. That was not
Squirtle has evolved into a guinea pig. This is a weird mod. War turtle would be the next.
And then Blastoise.
Okay, so what's your third reason? I didn't even know what you said for the second one, to be honest.
I said social.
Oh, evolution.
Social.
So social would require friends, am I correct?
I'd prefer to play with friends.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so now where do you find them?
I have friends.
What?
That doesn't answer my question.
Oh, I go to findgamefriend.com.
Oh, cool. We should buy that URL. Actually, there's a lot of cool websites that you can go to just find people to play certain games with. Like, if you're hunting for a certain trophy or something, you can say, hey, I'm looking for this trophy.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I did that with Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, which is one of my favorite shooters of all time. So, do you have a third reason?
To be able to talk about games on podcasts like this.
Fair enough. I'm going to go with narrative, pure fun, and escape. I think those are all kind of self-explanatory.
Well, pretty good.
The third one, I love to read too, so that kind of matches, I think. I love to play games by myself a lot. I play with myself. And that's kind of what I do if like my friends are busy and I'm trying to review a game. I'll say, I'll sit down for a few hours and play this. And that's really fun to me, just to be able to explore somebody else's creation. And that's why I read, that's why I watch movies on occasion. They're not my favorite, as you all know.
Okay.
And that's why I play video games. I think they're really enjoyable.
I think escape is, a really a really good reason that a lot of people do a lot of these kinds of things. But like, if I choose to escape, I would escape in a movie. You would escape in a game.
Right, because the game is longer than 2.5 hours, and you don't have to pee in the middle of it.
It's a lot more interactive. You can be part of that story. You're not just passively watching it.
It's different. I like the interactive medium.
Yeah. Although I also like movies a lot.
Movies are very passive and they're enjoyable, but to me, I'm very selective with my movies. I'll try any game out. I won't try any movie out.
Oh, really? I'll try any movie, especially because you don't have that time lane. Like, I'll give it 2 hours of my life.
No, I'll try a game. I'll just sell it back.
That's also like, when we've had a number of frustrating GameStop shopping experiences. You and I.
A number is 1, and I'm never going again.
So you say you'll try any game. I won't. Like, it's not.
Yeah, but when I tell you a game that I know you will like, you have to confirm with the GameStop employee that you will like it, and he will tell you all the exact same things that I told you.
But like for me, a game is an investment, and it's not just money. It's like investment.
But is what I said not true?
Yeah, it's just that like I won't choose to invest my time in very many games, and I won't really play more than one game at once.
That's fair.
Whereas you'll just like play. You're just like a freeloader.
Yeah, like 3 different games going at one time.
Yeah, you jump around.
All right, cool. I think that's a great first kind of introduction to our podcast. I really hope you guys stick around. We're going to take a break, but first, I want to give a quick shout out to Iron Link, who did our theme music, and to Jeffrey Michael. Is that his name?
Jeffrey Doles.
Jeffrey Doles, who worked on our logo and does our editing. Both are phenomenal guys. You should feel free to check out their work. You can shoot us an email at pressstart@HollywoodChicago.com if you're interested. And right now, we're going to take a quick break. After that, we're going to talk about our top 5 games of all time. Mine are going to be amazing.
Big list.
And Adam's are going to suck.
Well, stick around.
All right, we'll be back in a bit. Folks, we are back after that brief break. I hope you enjoyed the theme music. What are we going to talk about now, Dylan? Tell me.
I think we're gonna do our top 5 games of all time. Just kind of
All time.
All
So this
time.
is not a collective thing. We each brought our top 5 games of all time to talk about. I think this is a really great way to start the podcast off to give people a taste of what we're all about as gamers.
what games you really come back to time and time again. We'll play at least my top 5. I played multiple
well,
times.
My thing is, one of my top 5, which I'll talk about in a bit, I played once and I will probably never play again, but I do not ever see it falling out of the top 5.
Really?
We'll talk about it when
Okay.
we get there. You know, it's not my last one. Okay, Dylan knows what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, too.
All right,
That would be a
so
great podcast when you play with this one.
It's a very cinematic game.
It was a good
I don't know
game.
what you're talking about.
All right, let's start it off.
Okay, so I have a runner-up. I'm just gonna say Bioshock right off the bat. That's my number 6. I love that game, but I didn't want to
Yeah.
put it in my top 5.
I'd say it'd probably be like 6 or 7 for me. I was definitely gonna put that up.
Phenomenal
in the top
game.
5.
Everybody,
So good.
That's one of those games that everybody needs to play.
It was definitely. That was another one. Cinematography. It just the storytelling was incredible.
The narrative in that game.
Yeah,
I think we should do an episode later about just all 3 Bioshocks.
That would be
Talk
good.
about
Yeah.
it. Adam needs to play those too. So
Those are good. I mean, the
let's,
second one.
listeners,
not as
don't
good.
let us forget that. We will do an episode about all the Bioshocks if you want it. Leave it in the comments.
What do you think when they went to the sky?
We'll talk about it in the Bioshock episode.
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with my number 5, Assassin's Creed 2.
Okay.
Now, I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan. I will admit that I hate certain Assassin's Creed games. Not hate, but just like them
they
a lot
definitely are
less.
hit or miss.
I hate number 3. I really disliked Unity. 1 was okay. It kind of got me an introduction to the series, but I think as far as improvement from, you know, one game to a sequel goes, Assassin's Creed 2 is like the gold standard.
It was leaps and bounds.
It was
so
so
good.
much better, and it really set the standard for what that series can be going forward. And I think the only few that have really captured that essence since Assassin's Creed 2 are Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag and
Yeah,
Brotherhood. I think all 3 of those games were just a great representation of the series, but I played Assassin's Creed 2 thinking, wow, this is an amazing game on its own, and also a great improvement on the systems and mechanics that were introduced in the first.
Yeah. Because I remember the first one, when it first came out, it was first announced. I was going to buy a PS3 just for this. Just the idea of
Absolutely.
being an assassin was so cool to me.
Great game.
And the game came out, and I was like, thank God I didn't buy a PS3 for this.
For real.
It was fun, but it was not a good game. And then, like you said, 2 just improved on every single aspect of it. And made
Exactly.
a standalone franchise.
All right, Adam, give us your number 5.
So my number 5 might be a game you guys have probably never even... Stop looking at my
I'm
list.
gonna guess
Stop looking at
that
my
it's
list.
King's Quest.
No. Why? First of all, let me read my list. And that's not the order that I'm putting them in.
That's the order you have. Okay, well, right.
Go on.
We're on time schedule.
That was going to be like a big surprise.
Well, okay. Forget what I said. Amnesia. Okay.
My
What's number 5?
number 5 is a game called Rygar. Now, do you guys even know what this is?
Now,
Okay.
I think you're trying to pronounce Rancor, which is the monster from Return of the Jedi.
No.
Okay.
Rygar.
I have heard of Rygar.
Rygar was an old game for NES. And I bring this up because
Of course,
to
it's
me,
old. It's NES. You don't have to say it.
it was the first grind game that I played. And obviously, I like these games. You're leveling up characters, you're grinding. But when I think back on how much time I've put into a game and why, and I think back to NES, Rygar was the first game where I did that. Like I played that
Awesome.
game.
So that kind of got you started on the grinding path.
Yeah.
My personal favorite grinding game is Ollie Ollie 2. Welcome to Hollywood. It's a skateboarding game, and you grind a lot. That's probably my favorite game of the year so far. Ollie Ollie 2.
Was that a phone game?
No, it's on the PS4
Okay.
and the Vita. We should do a Let's Play of that sometime. It's really fun.
That'd be good.
And thank you for hijacking my number 5 game. And go ahead. What is yours?
Yeah.
Alright, my number 5 game is Resident Evil 4. I absolutely love the whole Resident Evil franchise. I remember being little, being probably like 10 years old, one of my babysitters came over and brought me Resident Evil 2 and played with me and scared the hell out of me. And so I've always had a fascination with horror games, and Resident Evil 4 just really brought me back to that time and just scared the hell out of me. I remember playing the opening cinematography, like coming up to all the villagers and then them being nice and all of a sudden trying to kill you. And it was just such a good game.
That's awesome. I've heard nothing but good things about Resident Evil. I just haven't played any of them.
Oh, they're
But
so
I
good.
support it being in your top 5. I approve. Adam, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about Resident Evil at home compared to like an arcade?
I like it at home a lot better. I like being like dark room,
Yeah.
not having anyone with you, really being sucked into it. But then again, once you get to 5 and you start getting up to the newer ones, they're a lot more action based, and they really
Okay.
take away the horror element of it.
All right, let's move on. Let's get some more meat in the top games too.
Okay.
I think my number 4 is probably objectively one of the best games ever made. I think, anybody who plays it and understands it will say that this game is amazing, regardless of whether they liked it. Portal 2.
Definitely.
But Portal 2 is... I'm surprised it didn't make my number one. I think a lot of my other games are nostalgic value or just other reasons, but Portal 2 definitely earns a spot in my top 5. I don't think it'll ever leave. I've never had more fun playing a game cooperatively with a friend, nor have I ever loved a campaign so much as in Portal 2. GLaDOS is a hilarious villain, and the systems in that game are insanely
Incredible.
intuitive
It's so
and awesome.
inventive. Like, you really have to think outside the box.
Have you ever heard of Portal?
always.
Have you played it?
No.
Have you played Portal?
So basically, I'll be quick here so we can move on. But
Yes, I have. You
He's
throw
heard of it, he
portals
knows
on the
the-
wall.
so you throw a portal here,
I have played it, yeah.
and then you throw another one there, and if you walk there, you come out there. But
Yeah.
the physics in that game are insane. The stuff you have to do to solve
Yeah,
puzzles
and
there.
it starts out really simple. Like, okay, that's really easy.
Yeah.
Towards the end, you're like,
And when you throw two other
days
portals in
later.
there with the second player,
so
puzzles are
incredible.
just.
And those robots are great.
Yeah. Shout out to my friend Byron Tucheri, who played all of Portal 2 with me. That game was amazing.
It's great.
So fun.
And the cake is a lie.
That's from Portal 1.
It's still a great series.
And the ending songs in each of them are hilarious. But Adam, Portal's a game you need to experience. Portal 2 at least.
Alright, so we got 2 games Adam needs to play.
Yeah. All right, and he's gonna have to play all the rest of ones on mine too. So, Adam, give me a number 4.
So the reason that I chose this one as number 4 was, again, thinking back to my childhood when, because I'm 50 now. I played...
So what year were you born then?
Yeah.
Like 1920?
I played the King's Quest games, and these are PC-based games.
What? The big reveal!
Oh my god!
For a number 4...
No one saw that coming!
Do you even know what King's Quest is?
No idea.
Exactly.
I remember playing King's Quest.
Okay,
I played a few of the sequels, and they were really good.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you look at them now, they were terrible
Oh, yeah.
terrible graphics, but, so these were made by Sierra.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I picked...
Sierra, like the singer?
No. The reason I picked King's Quest is
Sarah
because this was really the first game that I really got into a story.
Okay.
So Rygar, I was really into the kind of the grind of it, but King's Quest, I was really into the story as a kid. And this was also the first time I called the 1-900 number
To have to get the cheats.
to get the
Figure out how to
cheats.
get past it.
So you've done this.
Oh yes, of course.
Okay, so pre-internet,
Yeah.
when you couldn't just look
it up,
a
yeah.
walkthrough or a cheat, you called the phone number and you paid for it.
And it was terrible.
Which I did for King's Quest, and specifically King's Quest 6, which was called Air Today.
Is that one with the Minotaur on the front cover?
Yes.
That's one I played.
So you know it?
Yes.
Even though we're, 30 years apart.
Yeah, I do remember playing that
King's
one.
Quest
Now,
6.
Adam, I feel bad. How
is-
old are you actually, so people don't think you're 50?
I'm 35.
Okay.
I mean, you might as well be.
King's Quest 6 was...
So that's 50 in my millennials' eyes.
It was an early, so I didn't put Myst on my list, although it almost did. But
Because your mist is on my list. Because your mist.
King's Quest was a story, but it was also about puzzles and riddles.
Yeah.
And when you got stuck, you called.
You were stuck for days on that and trying to figure it out.
Right.
Oh, man.
So I had to convince my parents for a while during that age that I wasn't calling porn
Yeah.
phone numbers because I was calling game phone numbers.
I mean, so much worse.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Adam. I'm definitely never gonna play that game ever, but I appreciate you talking.
Definitely give
about
it a try.
Sorry, I'm just like ragging on Adam this whole podcast, and it's just
I think it's gonna be every podcast Adam's on.
it's a pastime.
I like that. I think you actually know what King's Quest 6 is.
I definitely know what King's
That's
Quest
great.
is.
All right, let's move on. We gotta keep time.
Alright, number 4, mine's just kind of a tie. It was either going to be Oblivion, but I went Fallout 3.
Ugh.
I just absolutely love those type of games with the open world, go wherever you want. What kind of made it for Fallout 3 is just the idea of you can stop it and do the quick shot in someone's head and just do a quick kill.
Oh, Vats.
That was so good. And I've always loved RPG type games where I can level up how I want to, I can play how I want to, and you can always take them out of order. I always try to go for the hardest people first, get some good weapons, that way the rest of the game's nice and easy. And it really had the idea where what you did mattered. If you blew up Nuketown, then they weren't there anymore. You couldn't go back anymore. So you really had to understand what you were doing to kind of, for the rest of the
I
game.
did not blow up Nuketown, and then I stopped playing.
I blew up Nuketown, and I was
But
really sad and
a lot of
disappointed.
people like that game. I think a lot of people would agree with you on putting
Yeah,
it in your
and that's
top
one of the
five
games
for
that I'll
sure.
come back time and time again, and I will keep playing it.
Yeah.
And it's always fun.
Well, hopefully by the time this has aired, Fallout 4 will have been announced. We will see.
Game I'm most
Also,
looking forward to.
a good note, in the future we're going to do a podcast about developers / games that everybody else likes that we don't.
But that's going to be on there.
For me, Fallout will be on there, and we'll talk about that later. I'm going to keep things going here with my number 3, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Oddly enough, this is the Wii Zelda, and it's the first Zelda I ever played.
That was the first Zelda you ever
And
played.
you guys know me now, I'm a huge Zelda.
Yeah.
Very first Zelda I ever played, and there's not really much I want to say. Hello, Link. Chia! Hi! it's just so good. There's so much to do in the world. The story is amazing, and Midna is probably the best side character in any Zelda ever. I'm willing to say that definitively. I just love the game. There's no other reason for me to say it could be in anybody else's top 5, but I just love it that much.
That's probably my second favorite Zelda game. I remember getting the Wii on opening day, launch day.
I wonder what your first is.
And getting it for Twilight Princess.
Awesome.
It was so good.
It's so fun.
What do you have against like Ocarina of Time? And,
We might get to that later.
Okay.
All right, Adam. Next, number 3, please.
So my number 3, I just have to, go for what the world feels in Super Mario Brothers.
What the world wants.
I mean, Super Mario Brothers was
Just the original one for NES.
the original for NES. I mean, it was a game changer for me, for everyone else. It was the first game that I really played from beginning to end, and then replayed. But also, you could talk forever about Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Use
the warp pipes.
Yeah, I mean,
You gotta use the warp pipes.
but also all the secrets. Finding all the secrets,
Yeah.
and even when you beat the game, then you can play a new game when you.
You're good. Keep talking.
Keep going.
My roommate just came home.
Sure.
Hello.
Hi. Just say hi to the podcast, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Alright, I'm moving it down.
Okay, continue. What are you talking about? Your game?
So Super Mario Brothers.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's iconic.
But I mean, it was also the beginning of a console system, and it was
good
a game
Miranda.
that people still go back to.
Yeah, it's had multiple different incarnations, definitely played on other generations, and it always holds up.
Yeah, and it was like the beginning of it started that franchise.
It started that franchise, and probably the biggest franchise in video game history.
Probably. Yeah.
I'd say
definitely.
yeah.
All right. Excellent. I think that's again a great game to put on your top 5 list. It's the game. It's the game.
It's the end all be all.
There's
You want
nothing
to
else
start
to
someone
put on
off in
it.
video games,
Yeah.
start them off on Mario.
All right, Dylan.
Alright, I'd say my number 3 is Pokemon, Red and Blue. Just the original one. I absolutely
That's 2
love that
games.
game. I consider them as one. Obviously, I got Red, my brother got Blue, so we always play differently. But that was always a game, again, you can just keep coming back and playing time and time again. That really started my love of kind of the RPG type game and the role playing. And that you take turns playing, you can really level up your person how you want to, and always exploring. And I was the type of person that always wanted to collect every single Pokemon. So
Excellent.
as they've been coming out, I've been trying to get all the new games and trying to collect all the Pokemon, and that's just always a special place in my heart.
Hey, whatever floats your boat, man.
Now, what do you think is the average age of someone who plays Pokemon?
Adam's trying to be mean.
I'd say around my age, like 23, 19, like in that kind of age. That you definitely have younger people, but there's still
College
older
kids
people that
play it
play.
like a
Yeah,
boss.
college kids that know the game, they know the card game, they just absolutely love it. And I think Nintendo.
Pokemon's hard.
It's hard, and Nintendo did an incredible job of releasing the cards slowly and getting people addicted to it. Like it was definitely addiction, and they did a really good job with it.
Now, do you have a little Pokemon stuffed animal that keeps you warm at night?
I used to. I used to have a Pikachu, and
I had
loved
a
my
Winnie the Pooh.
I
Pikachu.
bet you did.
I used to my Ash Ketchum hat. I used to have the Pokedex, and definitely went as one Halloween as Ash Ketchum.
Hey, you know what? Do what you gotta do, man.
Oh yeah.
Okay, my number 2 is definitely The Last of Us.
Okay.
Definitely. I don't think this game will ever move down. Sorry for the creaky door. But this game... let me put it this way. Anybody who doesn't like video games, if they came up to you and said, I want to try one game that you think will turn me and make me like video games, The Last of Us would hands down be the game I give to them. I think it is emotional, it is fun to play, the systems work incredibly well, the mechanics are flawless. It looks amazing. You can play it on PS4 or PS3. It's just overall an amazing experience. It's like when you go to a movie and you're kind of left thinking about it for weeks afterwards,
You're yourself
just because it
speechless.
moved you so much, and you're just like, wow, that left a mark on me. The Last of Us did that with me. I cannot say any bad thing about that game.
It was an incredible game. It showed what storytelling could do in video games and how if you just did it perfectly, what it can do.
I think it just changed the landscape of games overall. And speaking of people who don't play good games,
Adam
Adam hasn't played this, so he has agreed if we get 100 comments asking us to do a marathon live stream of The Last of Us, we will do it. Comment on this video, and we will do that live stream on Twitch or YouTube, whatever we find
We use something.
adequate.
And correction, I have played it. I played it for a full hour.
You have not played it.
I played it for a full hour.
And then you've already experienced a gut
A
punch.
little bit of it.
And for that full hour that I played Last of Us, it was great.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you think it gets a sequel, or it should get a sequel?
Yeah, but I think it should be different characters in that same world.
Right, I think they should just leave it how it is. It's a perfect game, and what it did was encompassing. I think it's going to ruin it if they try to do a sequel and try to just build off of it.
If it's the same characters, yes, I think it will ruin it. I still think it'll be good. It won't
It
ruin
is a good enough world where they could do another one. I think, like, in Hollywood and
think
video games, they have such an idea of
Joel
needing
and
another
Ellie's
one.
story was so good and
Perfect.
definitive that it's just like, why do
Yeah.
anything else with it? But anyway, let's move on. I've said all I want to say about The Last of Us. Everybody,
You could say so much more.
I mean, anybody who likes The Last of Us, there's no in between. You love it or you hate it, and anybody who
Yeah.
hates it is not my friend. So, Adam, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is the Miss Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man.
That's not-
Oh, that's correction. That is Pac-Man, not Miss Pac-Man.
Well, just put a bow on top of it, and then
It doesn't have a bow,
Oh,
though.
she just got way hotter.
So my number 2 is Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, you have a machine, blah, blah, blah.
It's not just that I
Plus
have
the
it. It's not
levels.
just, I decided I wanted to play a game that I could never beat. And obviously, as we're seeing a trend of the games you guys are naming compared to the ones that I'm naming, which are a little
Ours are better, yeah.
older, and more and more classics, and actually have changed the world,
Right.
as opposed to just kind of been a blip on the radar.
Personal
for a year.
level.
No, but Miss Pac-Man is the greatest selling. Pac-Man in general is the greatest selling video game arcade of all time. It's a game that was designed to be very simple. Very gentle,
Yes.
as we learned from
Non-violent.
talking to the creator. Very non-violent, designed for women.
Yes,
initially,
women and couples.
because women and couples, because it came out during a time when there
Speaking of which, ladies, I'm single.
were. Thank you for
Gotta have that plug in.
self-plug. It came out during a time when a lot of games were targeted at men.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing too was, to me, it also really defined the way a game can get simple to challenging. So someone could pop in and play it for like a minute and not have a big deal, but you can also play it for 9 hours.
Yeah.
And have it. So it really kind of set off that
It's
hybrid.
the same
between
thing
simple
basically,
and
but still doing
challenging.
it for 9 hours. And
Well, but it
the
gets harder.
simplest concept can
It gets
still
faster.
be, yeah.
And people also don't realize that the ghosts have different algorithms and they have different personalities. There's actually it was definitely one of those games that were ahead of its time.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. I think that's a good addition to the list. I think a lot of these games are just really iconic, and we all like them for all the right reasons, which is making me really happy. A lot of
everyone
people,
likes that.
when you ask them their favorite game, they just say something arbitrarily because it's like the only one they've played in the series or something. I'm like, you gotta explore the library.
Why do you like that?
Exactly. Dylan, give us your number 2.
Alright, number
We're
2,
gonna get on
Super
to
Mario World.
Oh, damn, okay.
I'd say, obviously we said
Wait, why
Mario.
don't you pause there for a second, because my number 1 is Super Mario World.
Oh my god.
Is it really? Yeah, Super Mario World is my favorite. Go ahead, you say what
So
you're
Super
gonna say.
Mario, as we said, Mario is just such a staple in video game. That's my favorite one by far. Just exploring their map, showing how it evolved, and just level design was incredible. You have all the great power-ups, and you just have so many places to
The
go.
level design is insane. The secret levels are amazing.
Secret level Star Road.
That's a game I can
Getting
play
Yoshi.
over and over and over and over and over again. And
It never gets
love
rid of it.
Love it. And I still haven't beaten all of it. I still haven't gotten all the secret levels. Like,
Oh,
I haven't, because I
what's your
bought
game
it.
of that?
Well, I bought it on the Wii Virtual Console, then I did a bunch there, and then I bought the Wii U, and I played on that Virtual Console. So I've
Oh
been.
god. See, I bought it for like
Playing
Game
it for
Boy,
years,
brought it
but-
into school, and like played it throughout the whole
I
year of
think
school.
if somebody wants the definitive Mario experience with all of that world has to offer, that's the game to go with.
That's definitely the game to go.
And I think we could do another whole podcast on Mario even.
Oh,
but
we probably should.
Super Mario World is by far my favorite game ever. So sorry to kind of hijack your number 2,
Love
but
it.
I figured you'll have plenty to talk about with your number 1.
Oh, yeah,
that
for
was my
sure.
number 1. So just to recap mine: Assassin's Creed 2, Portal 2, Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess, The Last of Us, and Super Mario World. If people want to write in or comment and tell me that my list sucks or is great or how they would rearrange it, feel free to do so. We'll talk about it on the next podcast. Adam, give me your number 1.
My number 1 is Everquest 2. Everquest 2 is a game that I have played.
Cool, next. Okay.
Played more, longer, with more people than any other game in my life. It was the true MMORPG for me, and that was the true definition of a social game. I played it with my entire group of real life friends, with a lot of people. And true story, Everquest.
You met your partner.
Yeah, my friend. I met one of my best friends, Pat, on EverQuest, on EverQuest 2. He played an elf in the game, and when I met him,
You were a dwarf, obviously.
I was a wizard. I was
Wizards have to be at least 5'10".
well, I was tall in the game, which is why I'm short in real life. Whereas Pat,
You're short in real life because you were tall in the game.
yeah, and Pat is tall in real life, and he's short in the game.
Okay, fair enough.
and he was a ranger, and I was a wizard. So yeah, but no, EverQuest 2 obviously was a game that was played by millions of people. It was a hugely successful game from Sony Online Entertainment, which very much competed with World of Warcraft, and defined kind of the online MMO movement, and also was also one of those games that really figured out the subscription model. So they thought, like, we're not just going to buy a game for $50 or have DLCs and things like we have today, but this is something where you pay every month.
Yeah, and that was definitely revolutionary at the time. No one else was really doing it other than World of Warcraft.
And now it's ubiquitous.
Yeah.
But
I play money for Clash of Clans, but that's just microtransactions. I'm a whale.
And that's just stupid.
But they,
dude, I love it.
They figured out, not just buying the game outright, but pay every month because they get more money. But
B, produce more content.
They come out, they didn't call them DLCs; they were basically expansions.
Expansions,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I know you love EverQuest.
Yeah,
I never played it.
EverQuest.
I don't know much about it, but from what I hear, it kind of revolutionized the industry in that way, or at least in that sector. And I think now you see lots of games that are trying to imitate it.
Right.
So that's awesome.
And I do have to say a plug for the future, which will definitely be a podcast because of how much I'm into EverQuest 2, is EverQuest Next, which is essentially...
who are you going to do that podcast with?
Well, so right here. So it's essentially...
who's going to be on it?
Oh, all my EverQuest friends.
Okay.
I'll fly everyone in.
I'll
fly everyone in, yeah. From all across the country, because I played this...
Yeah, across the country. Are you international?
No, people who I actually knew, like in real life, across the country. Like I was friends with a family who they lived part-time in Chicago and lived part-time in Florida, and part of their together time was playing EverQuest together.
That's cool.
Like a mom, a wife, a son, a daughter, the entire...
Oh, wow.
A mama husband.
Again, another great addition to the list. Maybe one day we'll try to decide the press starts top 50 games of all time, and we have to argue over it. That'll be a fun special feature.
That would be a fun game.
Now, Dylan, I'm really looking forward to your last one because I know what it is, and I'm getting a little aroused here. So why don't you just say?
Near to my heart, Ocarina of Time.
Oh yeah!
Absolutely, just love the Zelda franchise, Legend of Zelda. I could probably populate my entire top 5 with just Legend of Zelda games.
I could too, yeah.
I figured just go Ocarina of Time, my very favorite. It just really brings back to just warm memories. I remember getting N64 and getting that game, and just after beating the first boss, opening up to the whole world and seeing the expansion was just incredible. It had such level of depth in just all the different dungeons. There was always somewhere else to go, something else to do. It was just incredible.
Oh yeah, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is probably the most highly reviewed game of all time.
I think it is, yeah.
I think it's up there with like Grand Theft Auto 5 and The Last of Us. And it earns
it's just
every
flawless.
bit of it.
And
Majora's Mask is great too in its own right.
It was good, it was good in its own right, but it was not Ocarina of Time. I remember buying a 3DS just for getting the remake.
I think of all the games we've talked about today, I'm kind of calling it audible here, but I think Ocarina of Time, Bioshock, The Last of Us, and Portal 2, and maybe one of Adam's games. Super Mario Bros. For sure.
How weird how
everybody should play. Well, no, there was one of yours, and then if that was me, I think those are the 5 games I'd have everybody in the world play if I had to. But
definitely the pattern between all 5 of both of our top 5 lists was Mario and Zelda.
Yeah, Mario and Zelda's on there.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is great because that's Nintendo. Like Nintendo doesn't put out a lot, but when they do put out something, it makes an impact.
So it's
a franchise that always sticks around. And they always keep making more.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo's a staple. I don't think they're going away anytime soon either. I'm sure we're going to hear lots of stuff.
I don't know Wii U yet, but as soon as the new Zelda comes out for Wii U, I'll buy it just for that easily.
All right, well, we're going to take one more break, and when we come back, we have a few more segments to go over, and that'll be the end of our first ever episode. So we will be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. Adam, are you ready for this next segment?
I'm ready.
Dylan, I don't know what time it is.
I don't know what time it is either.
I think it's time for 1, 2, 3.
Dylan in the moment.
So, Dylan in the moment is a segment where we talk about what games we're playing in that moment. Our guest will always join us too.
Yeah,
Adam, what are you playing these days?
Playing.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Dylan?
So right now I'm getting ready for Batman Arkham Knight. So right now I'm playing Batman Arkham City and really just coming back to that and trying to beat it completely through. That was probably one of my favorite games of that year. It was just...
It's a great game of last generation.
Yeah. It was such a good improvement on Batman Arkham.
I think it's also, it kind of helps define the open world genre. And it's really one of the only good superhero games out there.
It's probably one of the best. And also it had that combat system that's being used time and time again, like Shadows of Mordor.
Yeah.
It's really been implemented a lot, and it was just such a great system that you can chain along and really feel what Batman is, just take out a whole mob of people.
Yeah. Now let's not dwell on this, but what did you think of Origins?
Origins. I didn't like it as much. It definitely was kind of a step back for this
Fair enough.
franchise. But
I
it was
liked
also a
it.
different development.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. My thing is I liked it, but everybody else seems to kind of using...
It wasn't.
They're kind of using revisionist history and saying, "Oh, I hated Origins." I'm like, okay, it was a fun game.
Yeah.
Just wasn't as
It was good in
as
its own
that.
right, but it wasn't as good as other ones.
Exactly.
And by the way,
Far Cry
because you rudely interrupted me, I am playing Mortal Kombat X, which I would like to say was made in Chicago by NetherRealm. And we're very proud that it was made here in
It
town.
was a good game. We were playing that
Yeah.
right before this.
We love all things Chicago. If you guys have any, cool ideas of places you want us to film or just, places that we should go to check out as gamers or geeks, let us know. Our light just went out. It's going to be a little dark, but we're going to go with it.
Let's keep rolling.
We only have a few more things to say, and this is our first episode. Just a little hitch in the
So,
system.
just adds
Glitch
to
in the
popularity.
system. Fair enough. I look great in any light. So, I'm playing a Witcher right now. Just got it today, so I haven't really done much with it. And then Splatoon.
Okay.
I'm digging Splatoon.
In Witcher, I was really excited for that. I'll probably pick that up very soon.
I'll let you know how it is.
Splatoon, not as much.
Splatoon is going to be great. I played a few
it's
matches
the
in it.
first new IP for
Let me
Nintendo in a
say,
while.
it is insanely fun.
Okay.
Because I'm really bad at shooters, just in general,
Yeah.
as a general rule, but being able to just shoot randomly to cover an area with ink is fun because you don't have to be that great at aiming, and you can kill people, but if
That's not the main
if you
purpose.
die, you can launch right to one of your teammates.
Okay.
So the mobility's great, and we'll play some after we record this and hopefully talk about it next time, but it is a phenomenal game.
Yeah, see, I've never been a big fan of the shooters, like Call of Duty and stuff. If I was playing with friends, I know it was always fun, but if I didn't
Right.
have friends to play with, I hated it. It just got so boring fast.
Exactly. So that segment has been 1, 2, 3. Cole and Dylan in the moment. Alrighty, for our last part, we're just going to give some plugs where you guys can find us on the internet, where you can get in touch with us. I'll start with press start at HollywoodChicago.com. If you have questions, we'll answer them on the
You can
podcast.
reach all three of us there.
Yep. Additionally, you can comment on the YouTube video or leave us a review in iTunes if you like the show or if you have ideas on how we can improve. We would love to hear them. Adam, let's hear some of your plugs.
HollywoodChicago.com is also on Facebook at HollywoodChicago.com, also on Twitter at HollywoodChi, on YouTube at HollywoodChicago.com, now on iTunes. Also, I want to plug. This podcast came from a long history from a site, and it was an outgrowth of an 8-year history from the site. So I wanted to mention a few names that this could not have been without had the site
Jesus
not
Christ.
existed. Jesus is one of them.
Bear with us.
No, not in my book.
So just a few names. So this brand came from different writers from the beginning, including Patrick McDonald, who is with us today and was one of the first writers for Hollywood Chicago. Also Dustin Lavelle, Shane Hazen, Brian Tallarico, who's now an editor at RogerEbert.com. There's so many
Some great
names.
reviews.
I actually have to write this down and read from a piece of paper. Alyssa Norby, Emily Reimer, Allison Patashia, Rachel Faith, Matt Fagerholm, also at RogerEbert.com, Nick Allen, Paul Meekin, Dave Canfield, Michael Walters, current critic with the Chicago Film Critics Association and writer for Hollywood Chicago, Joe Arce, who's been our longtime photographer, Jeff Doles, our videographer and graphic artist, and the newest additions to the Hollywood Chicago team and the hosts of Press Start, Cole and Dylan.
Oh, and thank
Thank
you.
you.
Also, Lou Calamaris for introducing me to Adam here. Lou's my cousin-in-law, great guy. Adam, anything else you want to plug? Anywhere people can find you on the internet?
I feel like that was an award speech.
I know, right?
You like that music kind of cut them down.
Yeah.
You're going too
We
long.
gotta put some award music in there.
For this, so I had this written down, so I'm going to say it.
Okay.
For this podcast, I'd like to thank Cole and Dylan for their unlimited enthusiasm and infectiously positive
Awesome.
energy, and Jeff Doles for editing these videos.
And to Jessie Rush for being a part of our promo campaign.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
Yeah,
It will
she's born to be on the screen. I think I'll try to get her on sometime.
much more than you.
Definitely.
She got all the good looks in the family.
Says the
and-
kid who couldn't read half of his lines on the promo videos.
That's for the bloopers.
Yeah,
Fair
those are the bloopers. I'm all about the bloopers. That's all I care about.
My favorite blooper is the enemy in Mario.
No, listen.
Adam, anything else from you?
That's it.
All right, Dylan, what do you want to
I really have no plugs that much. I'm on PSN, Bad Wolf Gallifrey, and then don't have a Twitter. I have Dylan at HollywoodChicago.com. If you want to reach me there, and other than that, I'm really not on the internet.
Awesome. Well, I got a whole list. So you can find me on Twitter. I'm at ColeRush1. That's the number 1. You can find me on the PlayStation Network at Crush Galaxy, all one word, spelled normally. If you can't spell Galaxy, I don't want to be friends with you anyway. Instagram at the letter C, the number 2, and then the Rush.
The Rush.
Yeah, you can add me at Snapchat, SEARUSH,
Only dick pics, please.
Yes, only. Hollywood Chicago, I write video game reviews. By the time this is up, I should have Crypt of the Necrodancer reviewed, Life is Strange Episode 3, which was phenomenal. And hopefully Splatoon and maybe The Witcher, depending on how much I can invest into it.
You're going to invest a lot of time in that together.
It might be just kind of an impressions post, but we'll see. Additionally, you can find my work at geekbinge.com. I'm an author there. I review Community, which will be over by the time this airs, but I also just do random game news, editorials, reviews for them, and I appear on the Screen Bites video game podcast over there as well. Thanks to those guys over there for kind of teaching me the ropes and how a podcast works. The do's and don'ts. Jared Russo and Matt Legarrette are awesome guys. Their content's good as well. Other than that, I think I have plugged everything I want to plug. Anything else you guys want to say?
Until next time.
Exactly. Thank you.
Been a good first podcast.
Thank you very much for joining us for our first episode of Press Start. Next time we'll probably be talking about E3 and all the news that came out.
It's going to be big news.
And if we don't, we'll be talking about something maybe not equally awesome, but still pretty awesome. All right, so thanks. This has been the first ever episode of Press Start. Blah, 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 blah.